The focus of this video is to discuss or show you how Rosebud Company handles what I characterize as at-risk floors. At-risk floors are old. They have typically been sanded repeatedly to the point where structurally they're not nearly as strong as they used to be, and they will just start falling apart underneath your feet. A lot of contractors look at floors with this kind of damage and start telling you that they just have to be torn up, discarded, and replaced with something new. Rosebud Company takes a very different approach. We have over 45 years experience working on nothing but old floors, and plus I want to bring our experiences from historic preservation into the private residential community here in Atlanta. The first project I want to showcase is in Grant Park. It was on the west side of Grant Park, and it was a cute bungalow, and they had floors that were over 110 years old, and as you can see, they're in need of some help. Now, what we're going to do is we're just going to take the finish that's on there, clean it very thoroughly with liquid cleaners, and recoat it. Put a clear coating on top of it. We're not going to do any sanding. There are some repairs that need to be made. We'll do that very discreetly, but then we'll just put a clear coating over the top. Now in this photograph, there are two repairs that were made to the floor, and when I point them out to you, I think you'll get an idea of how we try and discreetly blend repairs into the surrounding wood. Once the floors have been prepped, two coats of finish were applied, and you can see the color comes right back, and this floor will give the homeowners many, many years of good service and do it very attractively. Our next project is on the other side of Grant Park, and the circumstances are very different. The last time the floors were refinished, they were very miserly with the amount of finish they put down, and as a result, it was worn off pretty quickly. When that happened, you just start walking dirt and grime into the floor, and it creates a very unsatisfactory look. We also had damage from furniture being moved around that didn't have protection on the bottom of it. These are indentations, and I was very clear with the homeowner that not all of those indentations would come out. Some other damage the floor had experienced was extremely bad. This was some very bad gouges from, again, furniture that was pushed around. Most contractors will want to sand down to the bottom of that scratch to remove it, but we know that that's a very bad idea because, as you can see from these photographs, you see dark spots in the floor. Those are the actual nails that are holding the floor in place, and when you can see them like that, you've already lost too much wood. I use a non-traditional sanding approach. This machine has 4 random orbit sanders on the bottom of it, and it will take off the very bare minimum of wood. As a matter of fact, most of the time, all it's taking off is the old finish, and I'm going to demonstrate that to you. I've got a spot here next to the fireplace. I put the piece of equipment down and start moving it in a circular pattern, very carefully removing just the finish. You can control this piece of equipment much more easily than traditional sanding equipment. If I had used traditional sanding equipment, I could have easily filled 3 5-gallon buckets with dust. As it turned out, I had a little over a gallon's worth of dust from that piece of equipment. Here's a good before shot showing you the contrast between the old finish and the surrounding wood, the pristine pine. We get it all off, and I start buffing in a hardening oil. I really enjoy working with these hardening oils. They go on wet, they dry and cure in the wood and provide us with a very attractive surface, and it's a very durable product. There's no coating going down. It's all absorbed into the wood. Let's go back and do that comparison again. Here's the before shot, and then here's what it looks like afterwards. Very nice transition. And another angle. Again, you see the soiled finish and how much it's in contrast with the very handsome yellow pine, and now how it looks afterwards. And let's go back to that damage. I told you I wasn't going to sand all the way down to the bottom of that scratch, and I didn't. You can still see some parts of it. It's important that the homeowner understands you do have to make compromises sometimes with old wood and old floors, and they understand that we're not always going to sand out all the damage because you lose too much wood. What the homeowner was left with was a very attractive floor, very good finish, and they'll get years of good service from it. My final project takes me back into my old neighborhood of Inman Park. We're working on a very decorative oak floor. It is face nailed, 2 inches wide. It was only 5/16 of an inch thick when it was installed, and as you can see, it's lost a fair amount of that wood from sanding. It had damage, so I turned that over to Jenna. She is my business partner, and that woman works miracles when it comes to repairing wood. She's very, very talented, and I'm very fortunate to have her. While she was doing the repair work, I went about the process of cleaning the old wood, getting it ready. As you can see here on the right, I've cleaned the wood. On the left, you can see the dirt before I took the buffer to it and cleaned it off. Once we got the floor cleaned, the previous finish that was on the floor was a hardening oil, and we were going to go back with another hardening oil. And as you can see, once the application starts, the floor just responded beautifully. This is one of the big perks of working on old wood floors. People look at them and think of them as a liability. Actually, they're an asset. And that's what I hope you walk away from this video understanding, is that Rosebud Company has been doing this for over 45 years. We bring a wealth of experience working on all floors, historic preservation around the country, and it's our job to take these old floors and give them an extended life. Too many contractors and homeowners look at an old floor and feel like it has to be removed. That's not the case. And so that's how we treat the old floors, extend their life, and give homeowners a floor they can be proud of. So I hope you enjoyed seeing this, and I hope you'll give Rosebud Company a chance to talk with you about your old floors. Got plenty of information on my website. Also got a Facebook page where I'm constantly putting up information about projects, ongoing projects, and things that I'm experiencing and learning. If you visit both, I think you'll see that our focus is on old wood floors, period. Thank you, and I do appreciate your time. Take care.